Hello, everyone. This is Grandmaster Pascal Charbonneau with the blunder of the day, seventh day of action here. And the second day for quarterfinals for the first group, where we had Jan Nepomniachtchi face off against Vlad Artemiev, and we had Magnus Carlsen facing off against Fabiano Caruana. For the blunder of the day section, I hate to be picking on Vlad here, but he has had a couple of blunders so far, and so today is going to be another of his blunders. And it is one that helped send Jan Nepomniachtchi into the semifinals with a convincing win. This game was not a piece of cake for Jan, though. He was actually in trouble, and we're going to first go through the blunder, and then we'll try to figure out how this could happen to a player of Vlad Artemiev. But what I like about this section is that it makes us all feel a little bit better about how we play sometimes. I certainly make my fair share of blunders, and so I feel a little bit better when I see these monsters also make human errors. So here Vlad plays the move d3. So already here, one of the things that you want to look at, when you're learning to play, you always want to make sure that your king doesn't get checkmated with a back rank mate. So we often say, make Luft, which means which is a German word for air. And this is one such positions where something like this would have been the best move. Let's count the material as well. White is up a pawn here. They have 4 pawns against 4 pawns here, but they have an outside pass pawn here. So white, barring if they don't get checkmated here, they probably are a little bit better. Now, there are some things that are in the air, though. And so with d3, white is threatening queen takes f2 mate. And the knight can't move easily because if it moves to, for example, d1, we have queen g1 checkmate. So this is not a simple position. That being said, d3 is a big mistake here. And if you have time, pause the video for a few seconds. All right, so what does Jan Nepomniachtchi do which exploits here the back rank mate possibilities? He plays bishop to e3. And for a player of that level, this is a very simple tactic. He's simply trying to deflect the queen so that he can give checkmate on c8. There is a possibility that Artemiev had seen this move, but I don't think so. Here, he does find a tricky move, queen to c3. And this is a little bit tricky because if white takes the bishop, either way they take it, they run the chance of getting checkmated themselves here, or at least getting some, it actually would be checkmate in a few moves, right? For example, bishop here, queen c1 or queen a1 is the same. And the king runs out of squares, and it is checkmate. But the problem with this concept is that it's just a threat. And in reality, this bishop on a7 is still hanging, and it still cannot take the bishop on e3 next move because of queen a8. So here, Jan simply plays g3. I always like these moves that are sort of quiet, a quiet winning move, right? And so after this, the bishop cannot move. And so really, there's nothing black can do to avoid losing this bishop. So yeah, he just plays bishop takes e3 and allows himself to get checkmated. At this point, I'm sure he had seen it, but he just decided that there was nothing else to do. And so with that, Jan Nepomniachtchi wins the game, an important game that put him in the lead in this mini match. So let's go back here to the blunder itself. So, well, actually, let's go back all the way a few more moves. If we go to move 27 here, this is the position that black had. So if you look at this position, he was up a pawn here, and in fact had a very nice position, much better for black, and he decided to go for complications here when he could, for example, simply play a move like queen c2 just to show how good his position is. Queen takes, rook takes, and he's up a pawn in the endgame. Really absolutely no losing chances for black here. Only black has chances to win. And the fact that he had this, and of course he saw queen c2, he decided that he had even better. So when he played d5, he must have thought that all these complications, having the pin here on f2, that he was going to be able to get even more. But Jan was able to simply take the pawn and chase him back, and he managed to consolidate. Here, black was actually still doing fairly well. He could play a move simply like knight e8, and he still had reasonable chances here to win or draw at least. But after rook b8, Jan took one other pawn, rook b1, rook f1. It's possible here that Vlad overestimated you might have seen the move d3. And if you look at this, it kind of explains the blunder later with d3, because in this position, bishop e3 would not be possible. Do you see why? Black has a very nice checkmate here. They can take here, and bishop takes e3. And there's a pin here, so he can't play rook f2, king h1, and rook takes f1. So because d3 would have been winning in this position, maybe he forgot that bishop e3 would be possible in the position in the game. So this is sort of my explanation for what happened here. He went from an excellent position to a difficult one, which is always hard to readjust to these really changing situations. And maybe that is why he missed the move bishop e3, which here won a piece for Jan Nepomniachtchi. That's the blunder of the day for day number 7. And thanks for joining me.